Hello everybody! C'est Dominus for Responsible Gaming. We're doing episode 143 of Ominous Designs. Today, title of the episode is Fast Auras. So the story goes, I was listening to a podcast recently, it must have been, how was it called? Must have been Monday Night Magic. If you don't know it, do check it out. It is quite amazing. And was mentioned the fact that Blizzard, Wizard of the Coast has been trying to fix auras for the longest time, or they've been trying to cram auras down our throats, more like in the past, I don't know, like 4 or 5 blocks, maybe a little less, around that. And something that hit me very quickly is there is a pretty easy way to fix those, and I'm gonna show it to ya. It's got its upsides and downsides, but do check it out. So let's say we're gonna make an aura that gives plus probably 2 plus 2. Let's say it's a start. We'll play around that. Let's say the aura costs I don't know yet. It's gonna cost, let's think. Well, we don't care. I don't know all the details of the aura just yet. And we're probably gonna have to give other things to the aura, but actually advance, rules text, flash, flash colors, blue, I guess, expansion, Eldritch Moon. What is he looking for? What he's looking for is yes, how do you know? Flash enchant creature. I just wanted to see flash being written before or after enchant creature. I wasn't too sure about that. Flash. Can we have? I guess I could have reminder text. It doesn't really matter. I'm surprised. I don't really know when and when we do and we don't have reminder text, but it seems like in Eldritch Moon we do have it. Which leads me to believe most of the time we do. Kind of forgot about that too. Okay, so it is not what I wanted to do though. Silly me. I wanted to take example on Flash, and what I wanted to do is split second. So boom. So yeah. If split second was a thing, then this would be a pretty safe aura. And a safe aura is excellent. A safe aura is, well, no, actually, it's not that simple. I got lost, actually. I got lost forgetting that often the problem with an aura is that your creature gets removed in answer to the aura being targeted, but that's really only a problem when you have some kind of enter the battlefield effect with your aura. When it is not the case and your aura just means to enchant a creature, then the problem is that if your creature gets removed at any time, then you lose the upside. I mean, you 2 for 1, you get 2 for 1. So I got sidestepped. I just was thinking of fixing the aura problem with split second. It really would only fix a part of it if it had an enter the battlefield ability. Okay, so that's unfortunate. Let's see. Well, so we could just have an enter the battlefield, and this would make for another for an aura that would be kind of fixed. It would guarantee you a bonus. What if let's see. What we could do, and that would be kind of interesting, would be something along the lines of let's see. What if we do something like this? That would be kind of interesting. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 when Chook enters the battlefield. I'm assuming I can still refer to enchanted creature there. How's that? How is that? It is not. So far, it's a sorcery speed. A sorcery speed buff, which is pretty weak. But what does this mean? This means we get a +2/+2 that is not counterable. And we also get a lasting +1/+1. So we get a +3/+3 when you cast the aura. That still it still doesn't really work, because the problem is we're solving the what if your creature gets removed in response to the aura being cast, and we're solving this with split second. Unfortunately, yes, if the creature gets removed after the fact, the trigger will have happened, so it's too late. This has happened. You cannot remove in response to this. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter. If you remove the creature, even this has triggered, it will have affected the creature, and that's completely lost anyways. So that's not good. Yeah, it's not a very easy one to make happen. There is something that's pretty actually easy to make happen, but I just don't know if we can twist the cards so hard. We can do target here, right? And now it's up to you to commit to your creature or not. That being said, again, all you're gonna do is you're gonna let your player do the mistake of committing onto the card. Or yes, you do open the possibility for a player to overcommit onto their card. That being said, this is what they do when they play auras, okay? Over here, what we're really doing is we're giving them an opportunity to not actually put all their eggs in the same basket. So that's a thing. Now, +X sorcery speed is kind of not very good. Okay, you know what? Let's keep split second for let's get split second for the next design, because I think I want to try and do something with split second. But let's say, what if we make an enchant that would do something like this? Gets +2/+2 and gains trample. And when Gloom enters into the battlefield, target creature gains +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. So +X trample effects are pretty good, especially. What did I really want to say? Oh yeah, sorcery speed. Yeah, no, sorcery speed effects, if they are with something like first strike or trample, are not that bad for sorcery speed, instant speed, as far as I'm concerned. They're not great, but at least you do it you do it with the hope that that if you attack, even if it's announced, it's gonna have an effect, and that you do via trample, that you do via first strike, right? I'm looking at my upload speed, and I'm growing concerned because it's very extremely low. Hopefully things are mostly all right. So yes, so a plus 2/+2 trample, even if it's announced beforehand, is still pretty powerful because it's just hard to do anything about it. What would I rate this? What would I cost this card? Do I want to do a cast trigger? Because the problem is now we've switched back to the original problem of your creature can be removed in response to casting this aura, and it's not so good anymore. I guess maybe we can keep our with our theme of doing a split second auras, and in that case you're getting a sorcery combat trick that is basically uncounterable, and you are going to be able to split your +2/+2 trample potentially, and or maybe not. If you, it's still not solving a lot though, is the thing. What it's solving is if you decide to split those two, then you're sure that your +2/+2 trample will get through removal, at least one target removal, because you will have casting the enchant. You can do anything about it, give that creature +2/+2 trample, and then this one which is enchanted +2/+2 trample, and now you can remove either of them. And unless you remove to 2, I still gain my +2/+2 trample at least once. If you target the same creature, you can still get blown out because I let you put your +2/+2 trample on the creature. Split second, I don't care. You attack or you do anything, and now I'm destroying your creature. But still, you get this ally of this ally of making a +2/+2 kind of safer. How much would I cost this? Something like this? No, something like that. So we have we have enchantments that give plus in Return to Shadow over Innistrad. We got CMC 4 green instant that does it put 3 counters? You put 2 or 3 depending on if you have Morbid. Is that it? I think that's what it is. Expansion Shadow. No. Yes. Shadow over Innistrad 4 cause green type instant. So 2 or 3, and in let's see if we can hit a few enough things. 40. Yeah, I should have added some. Over here we have +X trample. Over here you have 2. Yeah, Dragon Scale Boon, 2 counters and untap. Actually, how about auras that cost 4 in green? I just want to try and cost that thing because it's not very. It's not very obvious to me how much it should cost. A lasting aura that costs no, a lasting +2/+2 trample is not very well known. So we get a +3/+3 trample if you play humans, which is it's almost a +3/+3 trample as it is, because you are not supposed to play it if you can't benefit from the trample. I don't think. We get a +3/+3 trample regenerate from forever ago. Okay, yeah. +2/+2, and you return it to your hand. All right. So I think a 4-mana +2/+2. Oops. A 4-mana +2/+2 trample is quite reasonable, enough so that you could have a free +2/+2 trample to somebody else until end of turn at sorcery speed. It's pushing it, I suppose. This time I might be okay with a 2 and 2, but I guess I'm still not for it. So that's a thing. It's a thing. I don't think we've fixed auras right there and there. Pretty far from it, but I think if you let an environment play it, they will tell you if they like it and if it works. Most likely, depending on the type of player, they would tell you yes, it does. I mean, most likely different kinds of players would give you different answers, because this is an aura, and this is definitely not for the risk-averse players. This is slightly pushed, I believe, so you might have more people who get into it, but it is also not the highest ceiling, I guess, of power. The best case scenario is still not that fantastic. I mean, +2/+2 trample to 2 creatures and attack, I guess, is pretty sweet. If you're in a good enough if you have good enough fighting chance at the time where you cast this. So maybe I'm convincing myself that it can have high enough an impact that the 2 and 2 green is good for its own sake. But you know, I don't know, debatable. It's a card. It's definitely not as straightforward that I was hoping I would end up with. But since considering I just realized in the middle of creating the card that split second and really only helps for enter the battlefield triggers, why not? Why not? Now, for the second card, I've been thinking a bit at what we could create if we wanted more auras that are sort of safer. It's hard to. I mean, it's hard to find something that's actually really interesting. I can make things like auras that destroy, auras that deal damage, or when they enter the battlefield, auras that create tokens, and things like this that have been famous for having people go, well, that's all nice, but if you remove the creature in response, then you get nothing. So that sort of auras I could do fairly easily. I guess it seems slightly boring, I suppose. I could just go Knightly Valor, I guess, even though Knightly Valor is just sweet as it is. But I could do something similar to a Knightly Valor. Put a 2/2 with Vigilance onto the battlefield, and the creature gets +2/+2 in Vigilance. It's just so powerful. I was gonna say it makes me wonder a bit if I went too far with my card, but not really, because a 2/2 is a creature that stays as opposed to +2/+2 trample until the end of turn, and +2/+2 vigilance is strangely possibly more powerful than +2/+2 trample, because trample is going to help you go through, but if you have the bigger creature, it's not that big a problem that you have trample, you're gonna kill some creatures and then you're gonna go through. As opposed to +2/+2 vigilance, that makes your huge creature attack very easily and then block everything on the crackback, which makes you such a lord in on that game. So I do believe it is quite a bit more powerful than what I created. Either way, we don't particularly want to make such a card. What I thought I could do is try to add some fuel to the fire of Boggles. Ugh, what kind of weird idea did I get with that? Some people probably hate Boggles. I'm sure they do. Some people love Boggles. Those are usually the Boggles players. So if you don't know, Boggles is Boggle, it's 1G. Is a deck with a ton of auras and a bunch of hexproof creatures to put the auras on. Now, what can we do? What I think, that's weird. I wish I had a better spoiler. What I think I want to do is, I would like to not add another card to Boggle so that it becomes completely crazy. Instead, I would like to maybe upgrade or present an alternative to a card that Boggles could play. So let's see. I want to see on this website. Boggles Modern. Okay, so our auras are Ethereal Armor, gets bigger the more auras you have. Hyena Umbra, First Strike, and Totem Armor. Keen Sense is draw card. Okay, there's one of them. Path to Exile, Ranker. Spider is Reach and Totem Armor, but it costs only 1, which is pretty cool. I wonder if we could try and upgrade this one. Though Totem Armor is kind of a very, very important thing. Daybreak Coronat is insane. Open the Armory is very fun. Spirit Mental, huh? I wonder if it's always there. I mean, I guess it's good to make your creature unblockable. And Trample Lifelink. Okay. Not obvious. Not obvious what we would do. I'm gonna attempt to make a white aura with Split Second, Ancient Creature, and I do believe we don't need. So let's see, what's the benefit for an aura that cannot be countered or interacted with? I guess it doesn't really work, does it? It's just uncounterable, basically. Because I was gonna say, what's good in Boggles is like as soon as you have the card on a creature, it's too late. It's on an hexproof creature, blah 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 blah. But it doesn't matter because you will never get your creature targeted in response to casting an aura on it when you play Boggle, because they have hexproof. So that's unfortunate. Yeah. It's gonna be hard to make it actually useful in that scenario, isn't it? Strike Fish and Lifelink. That's cute. Got a bunch of sideboard cards over here as I play with my knives. That's very good form. Yes. Quite a dilemma we have here. I'm gonna try and keep working on this for a bit, but it sounds like a bit of a big deal breaker, right? Split Second when you're already not particularly expecting the interaction to happen, is, well, definitely not that useful. I wish I knew a little better about, a little more about boggles. I wonder if, I wonder what you ever do in response to a boggle player doing anything, because that's what I want to prevent. I want to prevent anything that would be done in response to a boggle spell. So you're casting aura on creatures, and the auras are oh, that's funny. The auras are boosting the creature, making it have first strike, lifelink, and so on. I mean, the only thing that could happen is like some sort of wrath, right? But doesn't really matter. We don't really want to solve that problem, I don't think. Yeah. Dryad Arbor is the only thing that can get an enchant and still die, but I'm assuming you do this when you really have to only. Or perhaps those are here so that you can sacrifice them to a oh, interesting. Well, no, there's no. I was gonna say you can sacrifice them to a sacrifice effect, like an edict effect, but people don't play instant speed edicts, do they? So it doesn't really matter that we make a split second that would solve the same kind of issue. Because we could have that. We could have a split second card that says abilities your opponent's control can't make you sacrifice a permanent, for example, but the split second there would just about do nothing, since, like I said, there's no instant speed effect of that type, I don't think. Yeah, so the only thing I can the only thing I could see is if we were doing something like target creature get +1/+1 and auras attached to it cannot be the target of I mean, like spell or effects or whatever, spell abilities, or a havoc proof, I suppose. But it seems kind of lame, and it would still only protect you from instant speed, like random abrupt decays or instant speed disenchant that would be cited against you, and I don't believe many people have instant speed or disenchant at all out of the sideboard. They do have some, but I mean some people have some, like I'm assuming basically the ones who are wanting to hate on Blood Moon would probably have things like Crows and Grip and whatnot, but it's still kind of narrow, and it would make for a very narrow card as well, right? An enchant that says like auras cannot be targeted is like, I mean, yeah, no, it's kind of dumb. Okay, well, I think I got nothing. Like I said, I don't see any reason a player would do anything instant speed against a Boggles player. Or, I mean, I got one thing is the disenchant, and I don't think I want to try and cancel that one. And I don't think I can think of any other one. So screw that. We're gonna go back to. So we're gonna go back on what exactly can we do? What kind of enter the battlefield or die effect do we want to put on a split second aura? So I'm gonna just have a look around and see. I wonder if I can do. So what if I do or enters the battlefield? What does that create? Because I would like to do a. Yeah, that's what I thought. But if I do this, that's kind of interesting. Subtype aura, and I'm gonna do format, and I'm gonna look at Kanzatorque here, Balfours and Decor, and shadows over Innistrad. That's already a bunch. Did I miss a recent one? That's the last 3 ones, right? Yeah, let's just keep it as that. And then before it was Theros, wasn't it? Let's not do Theros, because they tried and solved their own problem in Theros, so we're gonna let that slip. So, what do we have? We have enters the battlefield, draw a card, which is actually pretty interesting for the problem we want to solve, because, well, not really, I mean, same thing, boggles as hexproof creatures, but I wonder if, well, no, the answer is no. I was gonna say, I wonder if boggles would like an enchant that makes you draw a card and does something if you had the certainty of ... nothing, the certainty of nothing, because split second doesn't give you any advantage, because we've said it 5 or 6 times. Hexproof. Moving on. We get tap target creature, we get, oh yeah, that thing, that's crazy. No, let's not give split second at that sort of effect. When enchanted creature dies, you gain life and draw X cards. Weird. That being said, this is the kind of thing that they try to make very powerful, and as for it inside, well, what if it does nothing? In that case, he would always do something. Which is cool, which is alright. No, which is cool, because if you have the certainty of it doing anything, then all of a sudden this is a 4 mana, draw X, gain X, where all you have to do is have a high toughness creature. Let's say you have a 2 toughness creature, draw 2 cards, gain 2 life. It's almost worth it for a 4 mana spell, right? So that with the split second is actually a pretty nasty card. And it's good to know, because let's open our eyes and open our minds to cards that have very wacky effects, such as this one. I don't think it's ever been good in the limited format it was in, but I think it would definitely be pretty alright with split second. What do we have that would benefit? I should probably not look at the rares, because they're usually good as they are. Oh, see, that's the thing that would benefit from split second for sure, but it's also a little too good. When Sage reverses until the battlefield, draw a card for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. So this for boggles we could imagine try and make happen. The problem being that an aura that just says can counter me, draw a bunch of cards, well, it's not that terrible, but it's still pretty darn weird. Interesting. So basically, if you made an enchant that said just that, it would be an actual draw spell that says sorcery speed, X mana, draw X card, where X is the number of auras you control, and count this one, which is very nutty. You would probably be completely busted in boggles, I suppose. Even though, how many cards that do nothing on your creature do you want to play? I'm assuming you would have room for a couple if they're kind of insured to draw you X cards, but they're not insured to draw you X cards is the thing. Like Boggles loses games, right? So Boggles loses its creatures, and when it loses its creatures, it is miserable, right? The problem is I don't think we can balance this card to be played in limited. Like you can have a card that says draw a card for each aura you control in limited. That sounds like a recipe for a terrible deck. Let's move on then. There was something. Oh, there's very few actually. Wow. Yeah, with cans and all. So tap this creature. Paralysis. Not really, you don't want to interact with that anyways. This is a land, and there is a token generator. Screw it, we're making tokens. I mean, in all fairness, I didn't find anything that was that compelling, apart from potentially the draw some cards against, or there's the draw some cards. There's the draw some cards aspect. You know what would be funny is murder investigation. When enchanted creature dies, put X11 soldier creature token onto the battlefield where exits its power. Now, do we actually want to just make a better murder investigation and just make the exact same card? I mean, I guess I could change the cost. But do we feel bad about completely copying the effect? I mean, I think it's kind of hilarious that you, if you would play that in Boggles, I don't think you would. But can you imagine, like, especially if I decide to put it split second, if you have this in your deck, actually it's kind of playable in Boggles, isn't it? Because Boggles is gonna make a like 7/7, 8/8, 10/10, I don't know. And you're like, you have one of those in your deck, it's got split second, so it's safe. Put it on one of your creatures. If something goes wrong, you're gonna get 10/1/1s and you're gonna win anyways. It's potentially too good in Boggles, I suppose. Is it? I mean, it's a do nothing the rest of the time, but if you could play one of those, that would be pretty sweet. And if we look at this, like we looked at the previous card in the way of put X11 onto the battlefield where X is the power of one of your creatures. How many can we get? For what price? Well, like for what cost should that be? What cost should that be indeed? Well, the other thing is, the question is, do I like the fact that do I like the fact that it's an enchantment that doesn't do anything, and I'm making it quote-unquote uncounterable, so it just starts feeling a lot like a roundabout spell. But I guess it's not. It's something you put on your creature so that whenever it dies you get something. So it needs to be an aura. So that justifies itself in this way. Let's do it. This I'll admit, it happened to me a couple times in the past. This episode started on a premise that actually wasn't as solid as I thought it was. I did think that the split second would solve a lot more of the issues that auras have, and I just came to realize that it wasn't the case in the middle of this episode. So as a consequence, within the limited time that is imparted to us, I am very moderately happy with what I came up with. But those cards do something. They do something. They do interact with split second, or split second does add something that makes the original design much more palatable, much more actually useful. You know, like the effect is actually valuable, but it is valuable not enough to be justified by the risk you take when you play a card that maybe will have zero effect if the creature gets removed. So by solving that part of the equation, we do create a card that's much more interesting. And I do believe that, honestly, if this one, and when enchanted creature dies, gain X life and draw X cards where X is toughness, if that card has split second, and you knew that you would always draw X, gain X, that would all of a sudden become basically a mini Sphinx Revelation, a much mini, right? But like if you have 2, draw 2, gain 2 life is worth like 4. It's not worth 5 in limited. Obviously it's not harmonized, but what can you do? But if you have a 3-drop, gain 3, gain 3, draw 3, gain 3, it's already sweet. If you have 4 toughness, which is really not like something crazy by any extent, that becomes busted. So there is something there. Either way, I think our first design was also justified, or it does something that I would like people's opinion about. And I'm gonna keep it as that because we're in 40 minutes and we don't have all night. So those are your cards for the day. What else? I will look at, as usual, illustrations, names, and everything, and you will see the designs tomorrow on responsiblegaming.com. Well, actually, the blog is something WordPress. You can find it on responsiblegaming.com. I will also post on Reddit Custom Magic as usual. You should check it out, and you can follow me on all of those over here: Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and even, how is it called, Imgur. If you find me there, why not? It's linked on every one of my posts on Custom Magic. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Do like and subscribe and tell me what you think about the card on all of the previously mentioned outlets. Thank you one last time. I really thank you. Thank you for watching. See you next week for episode 144. Until then, play responsibly.